The opinions expressed in this video belonging to the participants and do not represent the views held by PPS Holdings Trust, its subsidiaries, and affiliates. PPS is a licensed insurer conducting life insurance business, a licensed controlling company, and an authorized financial services provider. The information shared in this video does not constitute financial, legal, tax, or insurance advice. Viewers are encouraged to consult with a qualified financial advisor or insurance professional before making any decisions.
Now we're going to talk about a topic that is something that men shy away from, financial literacy, specifically looking at the concept of income protection. We are talking about the things we wish we knew about climbing the corporate ladder, Grootman edition. So, one of the challenges I've got when it comes to my salary is how to break it up into the pieces that it needs to be in. How much I spend, how much I save, how much I make sure is for the bills. What are some of the nuggets or the advice that you've got about navigating that? I know a lot of people have they use the 50-30-20 rule. What are some of the methods that have worked for you guys?
Sure. Yeah. So I mean, budgeting is difficult, obviously. The difficulty with budgeting is not writing down a budget, by the way. It's committing
Yes.
to a budget. Yeah, that's the difficulty of it. But maybe taking it back in terms of those splits, there's this dangerous thing that everybody fights. It's called lifestyle creep. That's if you can just win against that bad boy, then I think you're aces, because the minute you get your salary or you get your increase or what have you, you start wanting to almost commute to the next level.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
you should be comfortable staying in the same level. So if you've got that under control, then either you're 50-30-20 or 30-30, 20-10, whatever the case might be, like whatever that split is, becomes a little bit easier to actually adhere to. So I'd say there's a lot that we can talk about in terms of like splitting and doing this and what have you, and we can unpack that. But if I can say, like, the one nugget that I want to leave everybody with is just committing.
Yep.
And it's not about committing to the entirety of the budget, but just commit to one or two or three things that really end up making that success rate more than 70%.
Yeah.
That's quite key, I'd say.
Yeah, I think the commitment, you're right, Max, and it comes with keeping yourself accountable as well. So at the end of the month, just go back and say, okay, I budgeted to do this. What did I actually do? Because we sometimes lie to ourselves and say, yeah, I've got a budget, I follow my budget. But when you sit down and you actually look over the last 3 months, I said I would only spend this much on going out or whatever, but you actually see that it's a lot larger. So that it's that commitment you're talking about, is keeping yourself accountable. Go back and see, did I actually stick to it? That's more important. Everything like the split that comes afterwards, sure, but can you actually stick to your budget? And if you can't stick to your budget, maybe it's not realistic. Think about what it is. Yeah. So make it a realistic budget. There's no point in saying I'm not going to spend any money on clothes. For how long, guy? Don't do that to yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. And look, data doesn't lie, right? So we live in a country, fortunately, where our financial services systems are quite advanced. And a lot of banks in particular give you tools that you can use. So my bank has where you set thresholds, for instance, on going out, thresholds on what you pay for your utilities. But data doesn't lie. To Tananana's point, go and check, where's my money going? And the nice thing about money, not to spend it, is that it really likes direction. So if you kind of filter it and channel to where it needs to go, you'll be surprised at where actually you're spending a lot of your money. So I think just go back to the data and be honest with where you're spending a lot of the money. And then to Tananana's point, if it's not realistic, then make it something that you can commit to.
Yeah.
Because if you can't commit to it, then you're lying to yourself. It's-
Yeah.
To make this point, you only have a spreadsheet that you are so happily tracking every month, but it's actually just a lie to yourself. Yeah.
Okay. You know, I love the common theme of commitment that comes through, and that's the main thing that you need to focus on. It has me thinking about my mom. Whenever I'd want something really bad, like a TV or toy, she would always be like, okay, you need to save up for it
Yeah.
for a certain amount of time, and then I'll top you up. But her message was always that, you know what, I don't have the money. You can do certain things to save up and commit towards your savings and then get the things that you want.
Yeah.
And it makes me think about, you know, I think about how she would say, you know, comfortably that, no, I don't have the money for this, but you
Yeah.
can do something about it. How do you guys deal with being enough for your dependents?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I think part of it comes with like having a budget that you commit to, having goals and plans that you want to do. It's not you saying I don't have the money. It's your plans saying, "Guy, you don't have the money." You know what I mean?
the plan, it's not you.
You. Yeah, it's not me. I plan to go on a trip at the end of the year. I need to save this much each month to
Yeah.
get there. If you come to me and you say, "Can you give me something?" I'll be like, I don't have it because I really don't have it because of the plans I've made and what I want to do, that sort of thing. So when you do have a plan in mind, some of those conversations are not as difficult, like what your mom was saying. But it can be tough, man, because we always want to, especially when it comes to your own kids, you always want your kids to have more than you had, better than you had. Growing up, being told, no, we can't afford it. We have that trauma type of thing. So when your kid comes to you and says, hey, Dad, I need this, and you're like, where's that line? When I'm spoiling now, because you know, you also don't want to just make your kids suffer for no reason, you know. But having a plan and having a direction with where your money is flowing, those conversations become easier. It's like I'm saying, it's not you saying you don't have it. It's just your situation.
But to that, what happens if what you have isn't enough?
Sure.
What happens in those instances? Are there tools that can help you with that to get into the position where you can support your dependents?
Sure. That's a tough one, eh?
Yeah, it's tough. I'm also trying to think now. Listen, I know that we're in a country where there's a lot of people that are really living, you know, like mouth to mouth, and they're facing like austerity and whatever. So it's quite tough. I mean, probably one would have said, you know, the benefit of hindsight, one should don't get into certain things if you're not ready for it financially. Like, okay, but if you do find yourself in that situation, like try to see what can you get, like that either government is giving for free, like how do you stretch those grants, how do you do those things. But if you are above that threshold and you're making money, like i.e. you're working, but you're earning, you know, like a very small stipend or a very small salary or whatever the case might be, just live within the means, man. Like there's no other way that, you know, we can put it. And I know food inflation is on the rise. The cost of where you stay is on the rise. One has to pay for transportation, utilities. Like the inflation numbers around some of those baskets are quite high. And it tends to be quite difficult. So, you know, maybe finding a second job, maybe like you know, South Africans are very good at finding ways and means of just eking out anything and everything that they can from whatever situation that they find themselves in. It's a difficult one.
No, it's very tough. Look, and also if you're fortunate enough to be employed, I would say just make sure that you do your job and do it well, so that you at least are securing that. Look, there's no such thing as job security, right? Because I guess the economy is the economy. But before you even think of side hustling, just make sure that the base of what you're doing,
Yeah.
you're killing
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
so that it doesn't steal away from the source of your income.
The
But
main
if you
source, yeah.
exactly, if you then do have opportunities of doing extra stuff, I think that's definitely that's sustainable.
Yeah.
Because the last thing you want is to be not present when you're supposed to be where you're supposed to be. So I think if you have the opportunity to be employed, just kill it, do it well, so at least you can at least get rewarded. Yeah.
I think there's an element of side hustling where people only think of it in terms of them being there and doing that, and it's you only have so many hours in a day. You can't be everywhere at the same time, and your main job and where you get your main income should always be the primary focus. So if you do have an opportunity to go into partnership with other people that you trust, who would be there full time, it's one of the ways in which you can test out if you want to do side hustles. Is it viable? Does it work? If you were to then put more time into it, will it grow? So you don't have to be there all the time. It doesn't mean that. How do I phrase it? When you are starting out with a side hustle, don't think it will instantly replace your main income. A lot of them fail, by the way.
Yeah.
So many fail. So if you do have the stomach for it, you can start off by you can start off by doing it with someone who may have the experience, or with someone who will have the time to look at it and focus on that, whatever it is you guys are doing. So if you want to sell t-shirts, for example, you can design things in your time, but you don't need to be running around looking for where you're going to print, the selling, the packaging, the delivery. If you have someone who can do that for you, you can go into partnership. Do that rather than trying to do everything all yourself.
Yeah.
And like I said, you're not thinking of this to replace your whole income from the get-go. And in the beginning, it's more about the experience you gain, the connections you make, more than it is about how much are you actually making from this.
Okay. And how do we approach if you fall ill or you're unable to work? How exactly can you protect your income if you're in that kind of situation?
Yeah. Max?
You just passed it over to you.
I just love that. Thanks. And yeah. So I mean, two things. Okay. We always talk about insurance, and nobody likes the word insurance, right? I always talk about people being assets. You are an asset, and because you're an asset, you are able to generate cash flows. That's your salary and what have you. Okay. As with anything that is valuable, if something happens to that thing that is valuable, what then? Like, you have to understand that. Like, it's very, very simple. Your ability to generate a salary is an asset,
Yeah.
and you need to protect it.
Yeah.
Right? So yes, there's almost like two ways. The lesser one would probably be that you need to have an emergency fund. But telling somebody to save and to put money aside and not touch that money
Yeah.
when you go on that trip or whatever it is, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
Very
Right?
difficult.
It's very, very difficult. So rather just pay that small premium.
Yeah.
It's a small premium in relation to what it'll do during that time when you don't have anything,
Yeah.
when you're not able to actually get out of bed. You feel sick, or if you find a very good product from a reputable company and whatever that cares about people, it can extend to if your child is sick and you're not able to do something. And we have to understand that it's not just salaries that we need to be protecting against. It could be the fact that I actually generate income from a business
Yeah.
because I'm a professional or whatever the case might be. And if I'm not present in that business,
Yeah.
nothing is happening in that
Nothing is
business. So then I need to protect that ability. So I guess you are alluding to an income protection type insurance or policy. And again, like that is something that one has to have. Before you insure the car, you probably want to insure the income.
Yeah.
So make sure that there is income protection, and a good one. If we
Yeah.
if we can put it like that.
No, you're right, man. You talking about the asset being that income allows you to do everything else. So your lifestyle, how it's structured, how things happen, that's all based on this assumption that we always have that we're gonna get a salary at the end of the month. So all the plans we may talk about, the budgeting and all of that, there is this assumption that we are gonna get the salary at the end of the month. But if something does happen, you don't want that to stop, right? You don't want the music to stop. You must be able to have that protection, that lifestyle, that cover that allows that to carry on. Nothing as dramatic. So your income may stop, but your family life can carry on
Yeah.
without being affected.
The commitments.
Your commitments and all of that. Your life doesn't need to be upended just because you fell ill. You know, that sort of thing. So yeah,
And
it's protecting your lifestyle, like essentially.
Actually, that's what it is.
Yeah, it's protecting your
But it's not just the lifestyles. I mean,
So-
you entered into agreements with the bank,
the
for the
bank.
house,
Yeah.
for the
Schools.
car, with the schools. I mean, they still want
Yeah.
their money. So I mean,
Yeah.
like you have to don't be delusional thinking that no, I'll always be fine. Nobody is.
Yeah.
It can happen.
Yeah.
And again, if you're worried about the fact that, but yeah, Bramex, Rantananani and Josiah talking about, no, but I need to put this money aside and whatever. If you are in a with a company where you can get some of that back
Yeah.
in an whatever the case might be.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a no-brainer.
Yeah.
and so what types of protection are there? Like, how do you even decide which one is the right one for you? How do you even navigate that?
Sure. Look, I think to Max's point, really, before you start with a lot of just going creative, start with you as the asset, right? Protect that income first. I think just around, in case you get ill, in case you can't really go to work, in case like you die, right? But like your commitments will be made. I think just protect the base, and then you, as your portfolio grows and life just becomes what life becomes, then you can add stuff. But just make sure that your base is actually covered. To say, okay, cool. If I don't get this amount coming in, what will happen?
Yeah.
Then you protect that first. If that's going to be an issue for you, you go for that first, versus protecting the car. And then the odds of, let's say, you not getting into an accident and then obviously you getting sick and not being able to make an income, you're like, that just weigh them out.
So I mean, so income. So then the cash flow is sorted. What happens to the people that are left behind if I'm not here? So your life. Then we typically don't talk about it in the community, but when you do pass on, and there isn't sufficient money to cover, say like the debts outstanding. So like how liquid is the estate going to be and whatever. Like those things are quite important.
Yeah.
And one has to think about them. Then you can start talking to, and I know Tanan is going to come in here. Like all the assets that you're now accumulating.
Yes.
Yeah.
Household stuff. Your car. Your house.
Big
Like-
ticket items. Yeah.
If it's going to be painful to lose it,
Then protect it.
then protect it.
Yeah.
And are there misconceptions about this protection, that it's for high risk jobs or that it's expensive?
Yeah, those are all there. I think the one Max alluded to earlier is, especially with young people, the thinking is that it's not going to happen to me. I'm too young for
Yes.
to fall ill to a point where I can't work. um, get disabled. But the thing is, the way these things are priced, the younger you are, the cheaper the products will be. So they're actually more affordable when you are younger
Yeah.
than when you are older and you think, oh no, I've got stuff to protect now. Your income, yourself as the asset, you are worth protecting from as early as possible. So yeah, there definitely are misconceptions around affordability and who is it actually for. And like I say, the earlier you actually find a product that works for you, start with what is important to you and what's the cheapest option you can find. But then what does a company offer? Like
Yeah.
Max was saying, well, what else? What else do they have there? You know, do your research, man. Talk to other grootmans out there, and
Yeah. No, but maybe on the real, maybe
Yeah.
a Grootman advice would be, look, I never thought I would need household insurance. Like yeah, in case the house burns, yeah, what are the odds?
Yeah.
But like that storm that happened the 1 December,
Mm.
and
The
I
hailstorm.
came, yeah,
Yeah.
and I came home and I was like, what? Look, and luckily I was protected, right?
Yeah.
So the guys were able to fix my whole bedroom.
Yeah.
Like when you think about the cost of that,
Yeah.
it's in relation to what you're paying every month. It's absolutely nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now it's like I can never go without
Without.
such protection, right? So it's like when you've experienced it,
Yeah.
you actually realize that look, you want to have it.
But I like
The-
that, eh? It's-
Yeah.
One, it's something that if I lose it, it's going to be painful. But then
Yeah.
two, the cost of replacing it
Yeah.
Yeah.
almost instantly,
Yeah.
Yes.
because the convenience of not having it,
Yeah.
it's
Sure.
going to be that much difficult.
Yeah.
You see, like, then if you're going to be trying to check the cost benefit analysis,
Yeah.
that's actually the question that you need
Yeah.
to be asking yourself. If I lose it and I have to replace it,
How long would it take me?
how long will it take me?
And yeah.
If I don't have it, how inconvenienced would
Would
I
I
be?
be? Yeah.
Yeah.
What am I gonna do in that instance when
Yeah.
it's not there? Yeah. It's talking about household. People always think you get that sort of cover for if your house burns down or something, but there's so much in that product
Yeah.
that can be covered. So it's same with income protection. People will think, oh no, this is in the case where I'm totally disabled for the rest of my life. No, it could be short term. It could be for the 6 months where you are not earning your income. So when you look at these things, don't think of it in terms of the most extreme
Yeah.
example. Think about just bringing it a level down, because then there's also cover for those sorts of things. A hailstorm, your geyser bursting, that's covered in there. You wouldn't actually think about it. You'd think, oh no, this is if my house burns down.
Yeah.
But no, there's geysers bursting, there's hailstorms where the cost of replacing and fixing your house might be quite a bit. Yeah.
No, when we talk about now, Josiah, talking about your personal experience
Yeah.
about the flooding,
Yeah.
are there any stories that you guys have that hit home where either protection was needed and you didn't consider it, or it actually came through for you?
I think probably not income protection. Touch wood. No, it's been I've been lucky in that instance. But talking about what's actually covered under your household contract policy. I remember probably around lockdown, working from home, and I smell something burning. I'm like, what is that burning? I think it's in the kitchen. Go in the kitchen, nothing. So I go back, I carry on working, and then someone else in the house, I think my daughters were home, and they're like, no man, something's burning. So now we run around. Turns out the pool pump at home had caught fire,
Yeah.
and the whole thing was burning.
No.
Exactly. And the whole thing was burning. Luckily, I do have fire extinguishers. That's another thing. Get yourself a fire extinguisher, a fire blanket at home. It's like all these little things you don't think
You don't
about.
think about,
Get yourself one of
yeah.
those. Put the fire out. pool pump, it's a fixture there, actually was covered. It was
Sure.
fixed within a week, and they had to repaint the wall and the fence and all of that. In the middle of COVID and all of that, service was good, but it's something that would have been such an inconvenience if you don't have, to the point I was making earlier, that it doesn't have to be for extreme things. You have cover and you have insurance for day-to-day things as well. It's for in case something bad happens. That's what it's for, you know, and it doesn't have to be extreme all the time.
No, but you know what? Like just and also just understanding the terms and conditions of what is covered and what's not covered. That's quite important as well. I remember I didn't register my wife, who was at the time my girlfriend, as a regular driver.
Of a regular driver with a vehicle. Yeah.
You see, and so and you know what happens, right?
Yeah.
You're coming back from somewhere and whatever. Baby, do you want to drive?
Yeah.
And then she drives, and you know something happens. Somebody does this.
Yeah.
She freaks out a bit, and then she ends up hitting like a pole. But she's not registered as a regular driver.
Yeah.
So like there's various like small little things that one like just make sure that one you are looking holistically. You don't just end up selecting something because you're gonna get a smoothie.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
try to maximize as much as you're gonna get out. Try to
Yeah.
maximize as much cover as you can get out for what you're paying, and then just pay attention to some of the details.
Yeah.
Those things are very important.
I mean, the very first point around insurance, any sort of insurance, is that you are covered for what you are paying for. If there's now additionals about smoothies or some payback, that's secondary. The main point is, are you covered for what you want?
Yeah.
Do you understand the terms and conditions of the policy, and is it affordable to you? That's the first important thing, and then we move on to, okay, but what else am I getting from this? What else can I get? Not necessarily what else you're getting, but what else can you get, and how many hoops do you have to jump through to actually get that?
Yeah.
True.
There's always that thing that's being dangled that feels like you can get it, but can you really? Yeah. Are you gonna be a guy who goes to the gym 6 times a week now? When you
Well.
if you're going there, yeah. But if you already are, then that makes sense for you because you already are doing that. But if you're not, don't think, oh yeah, I'm gonna start doing it now.
No, James, I'd like to say thank you so much in continuing to give me more and more nuggets on how to be a groot man.
Awesome.
Thank you.